So, welcome and Happy New Year to you, Mike Horn. I'm so
Ha-
glad you said yes.
Happy New Year to you.
So, how are things going? How did 2023 round out for you? Tell me a little bit about your creative life at this point.
Right now, I'm just doing, I am trying to develop a website, or I should say, YouTube channel.
Mhm.
Um, Trying to figure out because there's no real place for, there's no consistency in, I'm trying to make up a review,
Mm,
I don't want to say critic, but yeah, a review. So I've been working on trying to get that together.
okay.
Besides doing some local productions. I was in Ripcord last year. I'm in Wonders of the World this year right now. So that's how it's finished up so far. You know, Nothing major. I was in a one act at Northport. They have a one act play festival. I was in there. I had
Hmm.
a call from one of my old friends that I used to do improv with, asking me if I wanted to play. So I said yes.
Nice.
So that's how that ended.
Yeah. And so when you say you want to have a review, does that mean you want to review shows or you want to create a review like a show?
Like I want to, and I hate to use the term critic, but that's what
Oh,
I'm
okay.
looking to do.
Yeah.
But not just on plays, on everything in general,
Yeah.
in culture in general.
Yeah. So to
You know,
go in and see things and then give your
Review them.
review and give feedback on them so
Yeah,
people know what to expect when they go to see a particular show or whatever.
you got it. Yep.
Yeah. So instead of going to a newspaper or something like that, it's an online access point.
Right. Right. There isn't enough of that, I don't think, and it's not consistently. I
Mm.
mean, when we had back in the day when it was more, we had people like Lee Davis.
Yes, I know. God rest his soul.
Yes, I mean, he went to go see community theaters, and it's not like everyone else who said, "Oh, look, we're going to give them a C just because they're upstage." They're on stage, so we're going to give them a C, and we'll rate up from there. Not
Mm,
Lee Davis. He came in and told you exactly what he thought.
yeah.
As long as he didn't get personal, like this doing a physical, which he's done a couple of times. I
Yeah.
read a review where he went after someone because how they physically looked and
Mm,
not the performance. That's where he had that little bit of I
mm.
don't want to say pettiness,
Yeah, yeah.
but you know that when you went to see Lee Davis and you got a good review from him, you earned it.
Right.
He didn't rate you on the curve.
Yeah, right.
And that's I have appreciation for that. Good, bad, or indifferent. I don't want to be rated on the curve. Some
Right.
people do.
Mm.
So I've been experimenting on how I want to do that, whether I want to make it a podcast or whether I want to do it as a YouTube channel, one or the other.
Hmm. And what feels like it's going to be the most generative to you?
I don't know yet.
Mhm.
Um,
An
be,
experiment?
yeah, I'm experimenting it right now. I learned how to do figured out how to do green screen.
Mhm.
So when if doing the YouTube, I could have the poster in the background, or I could because it's not just plays. It's gonna hopefully get to rate just to go out and look at other things. Even things like you see them on there, a tour of Long Island.
Huh? Okay.
I don't want to make it just limited to plays. I want it to
Yeah.
the whole just review. Is this worth going to spend money on, or here's what you can expect. You
Yes.
know,
Yeah.
if you're going to visit the lighthouse, Montauk Lighthouse, this is what you can expect. This is the best time to come. Things like that.
Yeah. Yeah. That sounds like kind of a fun thing to do because
Yeah,
you're going out to experience all these local events and
yeah.
um yeah, that sounds like a great way to spend some time and energy.
Yeah. Well, I'm semi-retired. I only work 3 days out of the week. I
Mhm.
also do. I'm also I'm part of the teenies.
Oh,
Majority of the
okay.
teenies. Always great to see those. It
Yeah,
really is.
that's where we all got our start, right?
Oh yeah,
In
absolutely.
high
And I'm
school, in elementary school.
yeah. And what I liked about the teenies is that you have that's just part of my prejudice because I was never an athlete, but athletes got all sorts of recognition,
Right.
you know,
Mhm.
for the people who like to perform and act and things like that.
Yeah.
There was no place for them to get rewarded. There was nothing there, with the
Right.
exception of, for the arts, you have NISMA and things like that, if you played an instrument, things like that.
Yeah.
But it wasn't really giving you an opportunity. It didn't recognize, because I firmly believe, as much as I think sports are good for youth,
Yeah.
I think performing in the theater, because you have to work as a team.
Yes, absolutely, I agree.
It
And
requires the same amount of dedication. The only thing it might not include is the same amount of squat thrusts or push-ups.
yeah, the exercise is a little different.
Yes.
And also there's, generally speaking, a lot less risk of injury.
Yes. But there's still a little bit there.
Yeah, but you never know, you never know, especially if you're doing Peter Pan and you're flying, sort of thing.
Yep.
Yeah, or stage fighting if you don't have a
If you're
good,
not trained, yes.
not trained, yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, this is right along, my mission of, interviewing and elevating, um, artists, whether they be actors, writers, um, filmmakers, theater makers, um, dance, music. The arts, I feel, are critical to our society. Art heals and art brings people together. And it's a way for us to tell our stories. And a lot of times by doing that, we're helping others to feel like they're not alone.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
They're
look at some of the works that just came out.
Mhm.
I think of it was done in Sag Harbor, Men's Lives, which talked about the East End fishermen,
Yeah,
the Laramie Project, things like that,
right.
you know, um, makes a big difference in people's lives, and it gets people thinking about
That's people
it.
thinking, yes.
Yep.
And a platform in which to discuss a subject without necessarily getting political about it.
Oh God, I'm so tired of everything has a political bent to it.
Yes. Right. So, I'm, interested in helping to shine a light on what it is you're currently doing, and also,
Hmm.
your goals going forward. So, if I could ask you, pretend you had a realistic magic wand. Where
Okay.
would you like your creative life, your career, your vocation, however you want to look at it, where would you like that to be in the next 6 months to a year? If you could just, everything worked out.
If everything worked out, I'd love to be making a living. Not, I'm not talking about, you know, but unbelief, but I'd like to be able to living entertaining people.
Yeah.
Yeah, whether it's performing on television, on stage, or even youth um, school productions, stuff like that. I want to be able to perform and have that, because greedy enough is I enjoy it. It brings me tremendous satisfaction to move people to laughter, to tears, to all sorts of things. I would just love to be entertaining people and be able to do it without having to worry about bills.
Yes. And why should that be any different for an actor, an artist, than it is for anyone else?
Yeah,
Use your gifts and talents in the world and to be well compensated for doing that.
absolutely.
And I think far too often, especially as actors, we grow up with that starving artist mindset, right? That
Yeah.
we have to give it away. And
Yeah.
because we love it so much, we'll do it for free.
Oh yeah, we do it.
For free because it's fun and we like it. And so
Yeah,
people think, oh, well, if they'll do it for free, why should I pay them?
right, right. And like I said, I'm not talking about, like I said, I'm not talking about huge monies, things like that. I'm talking about if I can, like I said, like I'm semi-retired, so I have some money coming in. I'm not talking about, I'm not talking about, you know, 20 or 30 years ago where I needed, when I had kids in school and they needed this, that, and the other thing.
Right.
No, cover gas money, cover, things like that,
Mm-hmm.
which would be wonderful. But like I said, we're in this field, we have that because we like it so much, we'll do it for nothing,
Yes. Yes.
or we'll do it for a meal, or we'll deal, like I said, it feeds our ego,
Yeah.
um, and for me, it brings a personal satisfaction, you
Yeah.
know, to be able to challenge myself or to bring something to life.
Right. To tell a story in an authentic way
Yep.
that moves people in some way,
Yeah.
whatever, whatever direction that is. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like last year's production of Ripcord. Usually, based on who I am and what I've done, I don't get too many serious roles offered to me, even though I do audition for them and I feel I could do a very good job. It's easier to put me on my comic bent.
Yeah.
Last year in Ripcord, did you see it?
I did. That was at Northport Community Theater, right?
Yes. Well, my other compadre was D. Martin. D. Martin and myself are always used as, I don't want to say second bananas, but that's where people come to see us.
Hmm.
And to be able to share that stage with her and do something that was completely different for both of us
Yeah.
is that one scene with us. It was tremendous, you
Hmm.
know. So given opportunities like that,
Yeah. Felt good, right?
oh, felt wonderful.
Yeah. So if you had things in just the way you'd like to have them, where you're bringing in uh money that makes you feel good about what you're doing, what
Hmm.
that compensates you in a way that feels comfortable and adds to your ability to live
Right.
comfortably and gives you the job satisfaction, what would that do for you?
I think it would be a different, I don't want to say because no life is stress free,
Right.
but it would certainly ease in those stressful points.
Hmm.
I always tell people, this is why do you do it? This is part of the reason is I like to entertain, but it's also for 2 hours at a night. Let's say I'm on stage. Michael Horn's issues don't exist.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
characters are. It's
Yeah.
it's a little bit like therapy. I'm taking out. I can't think of what Michael has to worry about. I can't worry about this, that, and the other thing. I have to worry about this character's life and
Mm.
where he came from and what he's trying to accomplish.
Yeah.
So for 2 hours, I'm somebody else, and I don't have Michael's problems or issues.
Yeah. Yeah. I hear you.
So it's almost like a therapy for me.
Yeah. And what's the best part about that?
The best part about it is it's relief.
Mhm.
Like I said, I view it as a therapy session.
Yeah.
You know, when you're in a therapist office and you're talking for the 45 minutes to an hour, you're unloading, you feel better.
Mhm.
Well, I get to do that 2 hours. Is that I take those problems. It doesn't make them any less,
Yeah.
but I don't have to think about them.
Yeah.
I got someone else's issues to worry about. So it lessens that. And when I'm performing, when I'm trying to write or create something in improv or trying to write a skit or something, whatever the issues is, I'm able to put it down on paper. And for me, once I write something down, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, it leaves the head.
Yes. Yes.
It's like if I tell people, if I get mad, and I write it down. Whatever the issue was, whether it was dealing with a customer gave me a hard time, whether it was my boss, whether it was anybody. If I can find a minute and write it down, it loses its power.
Right.
It
Exactly.
becomes less and less, and pretty soon it's forgotten.
Mm,
Whatever upset me, I'm sorry, something dropped. Whatever upset me is gone.
yeah. Well, that's great that you found a way to do that. And
Yeah.
a lot of people don't realize how therapeutic it can be to write stuff down.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Release it. Yeah, so that's good advice.
At
So,
least for me, that's how it works.
yeah. So, Michael, what do you think might be slowing you down, standing in the way, or stopping you from having this ability to live your life entertaining people and bringing in some money to do it as you're semi-retired and moving into retirement, perhaps,
Hmm.
at your full-time gig?
Fear,
Fear. Fear,
fear.
fear in particular, because I know that that's probably the answer for most people is fear. What's the fear of? Fear of success, fear of failure, fear of what?
It's a little bit of both. A
Mm,
fear of being successful and what would that mean?
mhm,
Fear of not being successful, and it's creating, as learned in one of many workshops many years ago,
mhm.
fantasy event appearing real. Fear,
Yes.
which is the hardest thing in the world. And for an actor, his gifts are his imagination. So I can create these beautiful worlds,
Mhm.
or I can create these nightmares.
Yeah.
And the problem is trying to keep those nightmares under control,
Mm,
you know, um, because, like I said, over the course, I've done things that I never thought I did, everything from doing a commercial to doing some student films to doing films, things that I would have never thought years ago.
right.
So it is that fear of it's letting go,
Mhm.
you know, and sometimes you have to be ready to let go of the rope you're holding on to and grab onto the other rope.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just not the willpower to do that. I'm holding on to this one. I'm safe, secure. I'm able to do that. To take that next step, I have to let go of that other rope. And sometimes letting go of that rope is really hard to do.
Yeah, right, because that, ancient part of our brain that is trying to protect us from the tiger that wants to eat us
Yep,
is saying, even if your current circumstances are not what you would prefer, at least you know what that looks like.
that's right.
And if what's on the other side when you let go is so much better, that ancient part of us wants to hang on to what it knows.
Yeah.
And what I like to say is you want to say thank you, fear, for trying to protect me. I appreciate
Hmm.
you. You can come along with me, but you can't be in the driver's seat.
Right. And too often than not, fear is that driver. I mean,
Yeah.
one of the I thought, if I can't control it myself, at least I've known that I've been able to change that in my children.
Well, good for you.
There's a little less, I mean, everyone's going to have fear,
Yeah.
but there's a little less fear in them than in me.
To go after what they want, you mean?
Yep.
Mm.
Even though, so, like I said, the perfect example is when I was growing up in workforce. This is, I got to, you didn't even think of calling out sick,
Yeah.
you know? Oh God, I can't call out. But
Yeah.
you feel like crap. Oh, but I can't call out,
Yeah.
you know? And part of that, I'm now reaching the point is, if I were to die tomorrow, if I'm lucky, they'll pack up my personal things in a box and ship them to the family. If
Mm.
if
Mm.
not, they'll get thrown out.
Yeah.
But that was the mindset I grew up with. When you have parents that lived through the depression,
Yeah.
that's the kind of mentality. Oh, you got a job. Ooh, don't take risk. You getting, you know, cradle to grave jobs don't exist anymore.
Right. In that era of our grandparents and in some cases our parents, they worked in one job their whole life
Right.
and never considered doing anything else.
No.
Children now, it's rare if they stay in the same job for more than 5 years
Right. Absolutely.
or they move on to something else.
And they keep looking for the new thing,
Yes. Yeah.
you know.
And
And
what?
one of the things I've always believed in, and I've hopefully gotten that, is just don't chase the money.
Mhm.
Every time you chase the money, and I give an example, every time that I've chased money, I've been disappointed. I may have the money, but it's not the job that I thought it was.
Right. Yeah.
So those, if
Money.
nothing else, I've three people in the world will not chase the money as much as I did.
Yeah, you want to chase what makes you happy because if you're doing what makes
Absolutely.
you happy, you're never really working because
Yeah,
you're doing something you enjoy.
right. That's what I tell them. If you can find something you enjoy doing and can make money off of it, you're one of the few, and enjoy yourself because it doesn't happen a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. It yes, one of the quotes I forget who said it, but um do more of what makes you feel alive because what the world needs is more people who have come alive, you know.
Yeah, very powerful statement.
Uh and so many actors in particular I feel are so eager to share what they can bring to the world and are not given the opportunity or taking the opportunity, whether it's creating their own work or whatever. And the worst thing you can do is to die with your dream unlived, right?
Right. Yeah.
So many dreams are lying in the cemetery,
Oh, yeah.
you know?
Yeah. What was that from A Bronx Tale? The biggest is wasted talent.
Yeah. The biggest sin is wasted talent. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So besides fear, which is huge, is there anything
Hmm.
else you think that would be stopping you or slowing you down or standing in the way of you having this life that you would love?
Well, some of it right now, this is some physicality, some health issues right now.
Hmm.
Um, I think that is a detractor, and coming to accept that doesn't make me happy, but it's a fact of life.
Yeah, health
I
comes.
ha- I have arthritis in the knees,
Hmm.
and it's an additional pressure in
Yeah,
there.
right.
So that's just, and I would have to say is location. You
Yeah,
know, um, if I was living in the city, there'd probably be more opportunities.
great.
Yeah.
So are there any other challenges that are slowing you down? Anything besides the fear, the health issues, the distance from what you perceive as a prime location?
Hmm.
Anything else?
No, but and well, that goes and ties in with fear is feeling confident enough. Some days I'm I could take on the world. Other days, a simple somebody saying, "Oh, that's not right," will drive me considerably out. But
Yeah.
it's trying to make sure that I'm not that I don't let negative self-talk crawl in there.
Mm,
We're our own worst critics.
absolutely.
I mean, we're brutal, and I have to constantly say, now, if a friend of mine had come up and said this to me, what would I tell them?
Exactly.
Treat treat myself as I would one of my friends.
At least as well as you would someone else.
Yeah, you're not going to say, "Oh my God, you were horrible." You know, don't do it. You would have said, "Hey, no, you got this."
Yeah.
So that is one of my own particular challenges. Sometimes that negative self-talk,
Hmm.
it doesn't have a quiet voice. It's too loud for me.
Yes, I can relate to that.
Yeah.
So, what impact do you think these challenges are having on the various parts of your life, your health, your relationships, your creativity?
Well, it's forcing me into trying to do things differently. Like I said, I'm trying to develop a YouTube channel. I'm trying to do a little more writing. So
Hmm.
it's forcing me into different creative aspects that I
Hmm.
didn't think I would get into. Um, I'm very blessed because my support network around me, um, my wife, my children, my siblings are all encouraging.
That's great.
None of them saying, "Oh, what the hell are you doing that for?"
That's a very big blessing.
Oh my gosh, I'm so fortunate to have that.
Yes.
Even to the point where I'm sitting there going, "Oh, should I go out for this? Go out to this?" My wife says, "Go ahead, go out for it."
Yeah. Yeah.
I got a tremendous ego boost. It was right after Ripcord. Um, I had auditioned about a year before this director called. It's over by St. John's University,
Okay.
and they have a little theater company over there. And I had auditioned for a role. It was a very, I got a kick out of it because um, we were, it was, like I said, it was over a year ago, and we were doing, and it was an older person. I mean, I was the age, I just didn't look the age, which, is always nice to hear.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And I did one simple thing. He says, okay, you're sitting on the park bench, you're eating an apple when this gentleman comes up. So part of the improv is I grabbed the apple and we started eating the apple. He remembered it enough that he called me out of the blue and said, would I be interested in doing this role?
Okay.
So it's things like that. And it's like, oh, should I do it? And I didn't even, for one brief moment, I questioned. My wife looked at me like I was nuts. She says, they called you out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I just got finished Ripcord. She says, you don't get opportunities like that.
Yeah. So
Take
did you
it.
do it? Did you take it?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. And I played a priest.
Okay.
Yeah, who leaves the priesthood? So it was interesting. It was very interesting.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. It's those things that you try to remember
Yeah.
that push you on days where the inner voice is being extremely bad.
Yeah. So rude.
Yes.
Yeah. It's remembering how good it feels to use those talents and when they are
Yes.
recognized that you
Yep.
booked the room. You might
Yeah.
not that role that time, but you booked the room and people will remember that and say, what about that guy that we saw, blah, blah, blah,
And just like that, that's how it was. It was just like, wow,
Yeah.
I made an impact on somebody. They remembered me from a year ago.
Yeah.
But and I, like I said, the tough part of being actors, no one tells you you suck. Oh, you did a wonderful job. But the other realization is if I don't look what the director had in mind,
Mhm.
doesn't matter if I could walk on water.
Yeah. Yes, yeah.
It has nothing to do with talent. And I share that when I teach the youth. I says you can be very, very talented, but if you don't look the role or look like the director had in mind, you're
Or
not going to get it.
look like someone who reminds them of somebody they don't like.
Oh my God, I forgot all about that. Yes. Oh, I don't like him. Why? I don't know. There's something about him.
Yes, yes, exactly. Yeah.
Oh, I
It,
forgot
it
about that. It's very true.
more often than not, it has nothing to do with talent and everything to do with outside forces that you know nothing about.
Yeah.
They
That's
have
right.
to hire their cousin's best friend's wife or whatever. It's often like that in this business, which is
Oh yeah.
fortunate
Which
and
is it's the nature of the beast,
Yeah, yeah.
you know.
So how long, Mike, do you feel like these challenges have been going on in your life?
Oh, fear has fear has been a dominant control in my life. Um, Mostly to the detriment. Trying to accept and deal with that and trying to treat that has been my biggest obstacle.
Hmm.
You know, everything else I've been able to work around, so to speak,
Hmm.
but it's fear. It's fear of the unknown. It's fear of good things or bad things. You know, it's the unforeseen consequences,
Yeah.
and having to realize that um, it took me a while to reach to this point. Is everything in life is a choice. You only have one have to in life, which is you have to die. I don't have to pay taxes as long as I'm willing to pay for the consequences. I don't have to do this unless I'm willing to pay for the consequences.
Yeah.
And that goes for positive things too. You know, um, whatever that happens to be, as long as I'm willing to live with the decision that I made or the choice that I made.
Yes.
Other than that, like I said, that's the thing that helps that combats fear for me.
Hmm.
It's a choice. I don't have to do it. As long as I'm willing to pay for the consequences of whatever choice that is, good, bad, or negative,
Right.
you have to accept that.
Yeah. Not going for the thing you love because you're afraid means you're gonna be stuck and frustrated.
Yep.
And whatever that's gonna do
Hmm.
to your life,
Yeah.
you, yeah, you have
It's
to,
the choice I make when I let
yeah,
when I let fear make the decisions. That's a choice I'm making.
yeah.
And that, like I said, that has been the thing that's been helped me fight that dragon.
Mhm. What's the
And
worst part of these challenges?
uh, the worst part is second guessing the decision I made.
Why is that the worst?
Um, because it's unknown. I don't know
Could have been,
um, the 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 road less traveled. I'm not on that road. I don't know what it was. Would have been better. Could have been worse. You know, don't know.
yeah.
It's that that would be for me. That would be it. You know, that would probably be my only thing. Is it? I'm trying to say less and less. Oh, I should have done this. I'm trying to use that less and less.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
which is like I said, when you combating, as I referred to it, the demon of fear, you know, that's something you have to accept.
Yeah. So if you could turn all of these challenges that you're facing around and
Hmm.
really flow towards your goals,
Hmm.
what would that do for you?
Well, I think I would be a better person,
How
and what I
so?
mean by that, um, I could afford, and I hate to use the term, but yeah, I could afford to be more kindness, show more kindness to others, because I'm now kind with myself.
Ah,
I can share that. Um, it's easy to share when you have it.
mm,
Okay, if I'm feeling good and happy, I can share that much more readily than if I don't. You know, I feel if that were to me, there would be a weight lifted off of me. It
mm,
would be an opportunity to make change. And simple thing as change is being kind. You know, I can afford to be show kindness. I can afford to this because it's not going to be a detriment to me.
wow.
You know, because I believe that we have a certain amount of energy within us, good, bad, or indifferent. And if there's more good energy, it's easier to spread that. So if I'm happier,
Mhm.
I'm going to show someone a little more kindness
Yeah.
because I've been there. You
Mhm.
know, it's easy to be kind when everything is good within you. It's tougher to show kindness if you're miserable.
Yeah. And the answer to the problem is not on the energetic level of the problem that created, of the solution is not on the energy level of the problem. The
Right.
your energy level, your vibration is higher when you're happier, and it's
Yes.
easier to see options and
Right. There's
see
more
things, right? Yes, more positive gets more positive, and then as long
absolutely.
more you stay down here stuck in frustration and fear and loneliness and lost opportunities, the we live in a spiral universe, right? Even our DNA is a spiral. So
Yep.
the the universe wants to expand and grow. And if we're
Yep.
not expanding and growing, we're shrinking and dying.
Yes. Absolutely.
It's that ever upward spiral that it's we're meant to be expanding and growing
Yes.
our whole
Hmm.
lives. We are, I feel, and this is part of what I teach is that keeping that um coming from the dream and coming from the goal of what it is that you want,
Hmm.
seeing yourself already there,
Yeah.
and then looking back and saying, oh, what did I do? What decision did I make back then? If I'm saying, look forward a year from now or 3 years from now, sometimes
Hmm.
we can't accept a year from now because it says, well, you didn't do it last year. What makes you think you're going to do it this year? But if you think, all right, 3 years from now, what would my life look like? I have this amazing career where I'm entertaining people both dramatically and comedically. I'm doing some improv. I have this YouTube channel where I'm reviewing, getting out into seeing all kinds of activities and things that I love. And I'm living, I feel healthy and vibrant in my body, and life just feels awesome.
Hmm.
Then you say, okay, to yourself back then, what did we do? What was the next step we took?
Right.
And
Yeah.
when you're in that, when you're feeling that vibration lifted,
Oh, yes. Absolutely.
to take a step, right?
Yeah. I said, what was that? Because it isn't just one, but what is the one step that took you towards that goal?
Yeah,
You know,
that's all
what
you
was the one thing that I did differently
want.
this year that I didn't do last year?
One step at a time.
Yeah.
So kudos to you for making a decision to do something that you can do that makes you feel good,
Yep.
about getting out and experiencing these different things. Um, so when all of this is working out for you, what's, besides being able to afford to be a kinder, better person, what else is that going to do for you overall in your mind, body, spirit, relationships, life?
It is the absolute key. Um, and like I said, it all goes back to if I can focus on constantly on the positive, it's going to make a difference not only to myself but to people I interact with.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it's the one virus you want to spread.
That's right. Yes.
You know, um, and if like I said, you don't know. I constantly see that you don't know what somebody's been through when they come across your life. When you cross paths with somebody, you might be the only kind word they have of that day.
That's right.
You don't know how you affect people.
The
And
impact.
if you can be positive and show kindness and generosity and all those good things to somebody else, you might save their lives.
Yeah. Well, I have to say, Mike, every interaction I've ever had with you, you've been kind and generous. person to be around as far as
Thank
I'm
you. Appreciate that. I
concerned.
try. I try.
You do more than try, and I'm sure that there are a lot of people in your life that would say the same. Uh, yeah,
Yeah.
and often it's our family that's closest to us that undergoes the brunt of our downtimes.
Oh, yes. That's like I said, I can't say that enough. Is that if I didn't have the network that I have with my family and friends,
Yeah,
um, I'd be a different person.
yeah,
You know.
yeah, it's a blessing.
Yes, it is.
So, Mike, what have you found the most valuable about our time together here so far?
The reflection you made me do, it really is. Um, I wish I could say it. The best way to describe it's a feeling. It's a lightness in me that I had just for having this conversation. I feel good. I feel positive. There's a lightness to my soul right now.
Excellent. I'm glad I could do that for you.
Yes, absolutely. I had no idea what to expect, but let's put it this way. I didn't expect to feel like I am feeling right now,
Aw, well, good.
you know, but that's the only way to describe it. I feel light. I feel good, you know, so to me, this was well spent
Ah,
time for me. I hope I gave you some stuff to work with.
absolutely.
Good.
Um, I'm gonna sign off and then let's talk for a minute, okay?
Sure.
All right. Excellent.